This show gonna be crazy tonight, bro. You know what I mean? Like,
What?
this show really gonna be wild tonight,
Oh
dog.
yeah,
Like,
there's a lot going on, brother.
yo, is it ever? Like, is too much going on. I don't even know how to even digest it all. You know what I mean? Like, is this like it's like an overload century? Like, is this? I'm not even sure where to even start. But,
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna figure it out though for sure. Cause I got something I want to show y'all. Cause I mean, you can call it a prophecy, you can call it whatever you want, but this man right here, I mean, he really put it out there, and probably one of the most viral, I guess, interviews maybe of all time. I guess coming up right here. Once I can download the motherfucker and share it. Okay, come on now. I set it up nicely, and now I don't want to download.
So you got what you got? Files. What you got?
Boost.
Mm.
Yeah, we got files. That shit don't work.
Taking more of that, more boost.
Yeah, but yeah. Without further ado, lots to talk about, but let's prefix this with a certain somebody dropping gems and knowledge on the whole goddamn world. Wow.
We're gonna restart this. Take
We're
two.
gonna restart it again. We're gonna restart it again.
Restart it.
Yeah, let's restart it again. You know what I mean? Dropping gems on the whole goddamn world.
Was going to expose. When I talked about Michael Jackson, when I talked about R. Kelly, they canceled me for these things because why would you talk about another black dude? Race is not where the line is drawn. It's God's side and the other side. And we don't care nothing about the other side. Period. All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way. The truth is the light.
I need to have another one of these.
Amen, amen.
Shit.
Preach, Brother Williams. Preach, Brother Williams, because all lies have been exposed. All things of 2024 and 2025 have really come full circle, man. We got a crazy show today, and don't want to start it off negatively, but that's kind of what all the top headlines are talking about right now. So I'm the host. I'm your, I guess your bartender for the night. You know, you out at the bar right now, you watching us. You know what I mean? You out on the late night, trying not to drink, but needed a bev for the night. I'm the host. They call me Moss Money. Got my guy with me, Humble. What's up, bro?
Man, do we need to call Cat the Prophecy? Like what? I mean, Jesus.
Yeah, it was a bar after bar.
I might go back to that interview and watch it all again. I just got to kind of see what he was talking about. He was preaching though, but
and all of it, and mostly all of it is on point to a degree.
Yeah, I mean? Wish Shannon would have listened ahead because he. Yeah,
I mean, where you want to start? You know what I mean? Like, there's some. You know what? We'll start right here. We'll start with the leg. Justin Tucker released amid masseuses, another one, another one with the masseuses everywhere. Let me get the story up. I think you sent it to me, right? Let's get the facts right. Right. Let's get the facts right of what's actually going on here. It's kind of crazy for the Ravens to release it, but what can you do? Ravens released kicker Justin Tucker, who was accused of sexual misconduct with 16 women.
Mm.
They said it was a football decision amid the massage therapy sessions. The alleged behavior took place between 2012 and 2016 at eight different spas in Baltimore. The report was first publicly in January. Tucker does not face criminal charges and has denied the allegation. The Ravens did not acknowledge the allegations in a Monday statement. The Ravens, who selected Arizona kicker Tyler Loop in the 6th round of the draft, described the call as a football decision. What do you think about this? Was this a football decision, or are these women starting to kind of point the finger, saying that repeatedly exposed his genitalia and brushed some of their therapist's thighs with his fingers? One of the 7 new women said he left what appeared to be ejaculation on the massage table. My God. Yo, there's some real like sick freak pups out there, man.
Some men don't have no control, man. They
like
don't know how to act.
Like that's crazy though, if that's true. You know what I mean? Like you really out here just letting one off right next to a woman masseuse. You know what I mean? Because that, you know what I mean, that gets you off.
I mean, I'm sure accidents happen.
Oh, that was an accident.
I'm not saying this is an accident. I'm saying that I'm sure if we go to masseuses across the globe, I'm sure there has many stories of men, you know, not intentionally, but potentially having got a little too excited. I'm pretty sure. In his case, man, is it a football decision? I'm gonna go back to the original question before I get in trouble. Was it a football decision? I think it was a combination of both. I mean, last year he was struggling. You know, he missed a lot of.
Yeah, he was struggling last year.
So I think it's a combination. I think ultimately, as far as a Raven, he's probably he is the best kicker. He's historically one of the best kickers of all time.
Yep.
As a Raven, I'm sure the plan was for him to retire as a Raven, probably kind of take his helmet off and it'd be different, a different conclusion for him. But I think the Ravens had to kind of make a decision. There's too much noise. I don't know how you bring him back, especially in this era. And he's been exposed for his failures off the field. And they got to move forward. I mean, I guess my question back to you is that does this interrupt his first ballot Hall of Fame opportunity? Because he's definitely a first.
My thought is he done? Like, is he finished? Nobody's going to touch him.
Nobody's going to touch him
at this point. No pun intended. You know what I mean?
Unless you grab him right away, so you can be ahead of the media cycle and just say, you know, this is an acquisition per anything that happened between what's happening outside of the football field. But if not, he's probably going to be done. He's old too, so I'm sure
he's still, you know.
What is he, like 38?
I don't know. I mean, he's a kicker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's a kicker, but I mean, it's just crazy. The masseuse, like, did you hit Watson up? Like, did you hit like yo, like, what's up? Like, it's just crazy. And then the amount, like,
well, this is before Watson, right? He was original. He's an OG at this. This is at 2008, 2012. You said, right?
I got 12 to 16.
12 to 16. So, you know.
So, like, how do you think this stuff happens in the background? It's 10 years, 13 years later.
That's the tough part.
I can't question anybody's trauma about how long it takes to find the courage to speak up.
Right.
And I think you should, especially a woman and, you know, even men get trauma, you know, from different situations as well. It's just mostly more one-sided. From a lot of the stories that we hear, because it's a lot of men in power, and that's kind of where this kind of stems from. But don't think that men don't get sexually assaulted. But for this case, it's just like, I just don't understand that time gap. And if there's a time gap that's that big in terms of like over a decade, have you been paying them off to keep them quiet, and now you just don't want to pay anymore? and this is where we are. Like, I'm trying to understand, like, how that all works. Like, why does it take 4 years? I'm sorry, 12, 13 years for this to really kind of come to the surface?
Yeah, man. I don't know the legality of all this. I think it gets a little. It's tough, man. I don't have nothing to say.
That's what I'm trying to. I'm trying to understand that. Like, I don't understand.
Where
like
is
even like even the next story, Smokey Robinson.
I mean, God,
all-time great of a singer, a man. Ooh, baby, baby, or whatever how that Joan go. I probably butchered that shit. It sound right in my head. But he's getting accused by 4 women for $50 million. And these are all employees. They're seeking $50 million. He's kind of speaking out. 85. You want to sue him at 85. He's 85 years old. And it seems like these are the accusations of sexual battery, assault, false imprisonment, gender violence, and creating a hostile environment from the 4 Jane Does who worked for him and his wife Frances over a 20-year period. Let's see what else we got here. And it says Frances, who Robinson married in 2002, is also named in the lawsuit as a plaintiff, alleged that she had full knowledge of his prior acts of sexual misconduct, failed to take appropriate corrective action to prevent his deviant misconduct, even after settling cases with other women who experienced similar alleged assault by Robinson. So, a little bit different with Smokey, though. Not saying Smokey did anything, but he's 85 years old. So, like Cosby, we've even heard stuff about Quincy Jones. Back in those days, it was a little bit different, 60 years ago.
Not right.
Not condoning it.
Right. Not right, but different.
Not right. Not condoning it, but it was just a completely different time 60 years ago. And again, and I only make this reference because I think even anybody listening who knows a lot about Black culture, Black music, I think it's been very, I guess, what's the word? Apparent and very known that a person like Quincy Jones was a womanizer. I think that's kind of been known. So, Motown Records, right? Smokey? Yeah. So with Smokey, does he fall in that high man position of power? Back in with the Miracle days, everybody was trying to get a gig, but they was the biggest gig in town. You know what I mean? So getting that much power, was he kind of used to women throwing themselves at him or women acting a certain way around him? Again, not condoning anything. First of all, these are all accusations. So I'm not saying that the man is guilty. But he's 85, dog.
Yeah.
Like, what we doing?
I don't know. Like I said, when you go back so long, you're talking about a long period of time. You're talking about a time frame it was just different back then. Like I said, not right. But I guess there's a long list of guys that's going to be coming down the same path, because I'm sure there's a lot of misconduct that's happened along the way of a lot of these guys that are become rich, famous, or celebrity in some fashion. I really don't have words for it. I just keep seeing it popping up on my timeline left and right about some type of sexual abuse by some celebrity, and it's sad.
Yeah.
Is there a, like, how far back do we go? I guess that's where I'm like a question a little bit. Like, how we go back from 2000? Like,
and then 50 million?
That's what I'm saying. Like, what?
I understand your payment. 50 million?
50 million. That That seems to be the number these days.
What's Smokey do to you? Right? Was he whipping you? Like 50 million? That's a lot, dog.
50 million.
50 M's?
50 million seem to be the going rate.
Yeah. I mean, and you kind of even hit it on the head. Next story. Like, how far are we going back?
Damn. I didn't see this one.
You know what I mean?
1987.
Yeah, let's get a little visual. A little visual. All right. Byron Scott. A woman is suing former Los Angeles Lakers player and coach from a sexual assault heard during a team event at her high school in 1987, where he was 26 and she was 15. Accuses Scott of sexual battery and false imprisonment. Scott had fought to get his name removed from the court documents, but judge denied his request to be identified only as John Doe. The amended complaint named him publicly for the first time. She was sexually assaulted by Byron Scott in a locker janitor's closet in a high school gymnasium. According to the court filing, Scott was a Laker player at the time. The lawsuit was filed in 2022 under California law that temporarily allowed older cases to be filed for underage plaintiffs. The law required the defendant to remain anonymous until certain thresholds were crossed. See, this is my problem with a lot of this stuff. And a lot of these high-ranking men that is having this problem. I'm not condoning, again, anything that these men are being alleged, accused of, or anything. You're guilty until you're innocent until proven guilty. But why do we get this protection for these plaintiffs and people with these accusations? If you're going to run my name in the dirt and name me out and name in public, you should be forced to put your name out there. Like, I don't understand this blanket protection. Now, some high profile cases, like Puff Daddy at the moment, I think his trial is getting ready to kind of happen. There could be allegedly jury intimidation, right? So I get that part. But my God, we coming out 40 years ago?
40, bro. That's crazy.
For sexual assault?
But that was already, didn't it say it was already done? I guess he just wanted to release the name. Is that what happened? I guess.
No, it was the lawsuit was filed 3 years ago.
The lawsuit was filed 3 years ago.
Lawsuit was filed 3 years ago. This woman was 15 at the time in 1987, bro. So that's 1987. It's 2025 now, right? So that is what we got. 13 plus 25 is 38 years ago. This woman is 43 years old. And she's now talking about something that happened to her when 15. That's what I'm saying. Like, make it make sense. I just don't understand that. Like, if there was that much trauma, then I think that you should have a history of going to therapy, trying to help yourself, a history of not being able to date, like all this stuff. But if you got like kids, a whole family, you done been living your life. Well, you just saw Byron Scott walking and you got triggered in LA, something?
Potentially.
You know what I mean? Like, he's been on TV. He's been the coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I just don't understand that part of this 40-year gap of now you want to sue somebody.
I think it's tricky, right? Because we don't want to sound not compassionate. I think, okay, so.
Yeah, no, I don't. You're right. I don't want to sound, but I'm just trying to understand. Right?
If this happened, which we're saying this is alleged, so say it did happen 40 years ago, I'm like on the fence about this long, like when is it, like how far back are we going for these assaults? But I guess at the same time, the victim still has to live with that for those 40 years, right? So it might be a moment where she's moved forward, she had a family, she got married, and she don't want to kind of bring this up. So then that time keeps going. And then maybe the kids are older now. Maybe she might be divorced, or maybe she got comfortable to where she can talk about this again. So you don't want to really criticize the victim, especially if it really happened. I just wish these things are addressed right away, right? So it can be handled right away.
Yeah, right.
But, in respect to the victim, should be able to do whatever she wants to do if this is true. And Byron, I guess he probably wished I guess he was thinking it was swept under the rug and he's going to move forward. But then just imagine she's watching television. She sees Byron life moving forward. He's making millions of dollars. He's the head coach. He's doing all these things. And it's like, I'm still in trauma from what you did to me. So I can understand that. And now it's time to pay up. You gotta pay the piper, I guess. And that's what's happening right now.
Insensitive?
Huh?
Do I sound insensitive?
Well, no, I think it was more of the questioning about it, which I understand where you're going.
Okay.
But we have to really kind of understand, like, if I'm looking at the victim too, and then her life is moving forward, there may be some things that are happening where she's not comfortable with bringing and exposing herself to this, and I can understand that.
Yeah, no, I agree.
You know what I mean? So it's a tricky topic. We do not condone any type of sexual assault at any level. From flashing somebody to the.
Let me put this up too, right? Because I want to make sure that, again, like you said, we're politically correct in just asking the question. But if you have any type of sexual assault, any type of, you need confidential in terms of counseling or a rape crisis center, hit the number below, right? Click here, well, then not click here, but call 1-888-772-7227. I just want to make sure that is the number to the rape crisis center to help with any issues in terms of reporting sexual assault or any type of support. I want to make sure, because I think it was the right thing to make sure that we are super sensitive to any victims that might be out there. I can't understand. I'm just asking the question. Again, you can't question somebody's trauma and how long that is.
Right.
But when is too long? When is it like? I just question that. Like, if you're questioning or hurt from somebody 60, 70 years, like, when is it like, when is that like, you can't tell somebody, I'll just stop. I'll just shut up.
Out of my back of my head, I'm just got my fingers crossed. Like, all right,
I can't say no more. Hit the number. Call the number.
No, I mean, to respect to all the victims.
Yeah, I want to respect.
Things, like,
exactly.
We don't know what the trauma is. We don't know, what they're going through in their own personal life. And
yeah.
And it was, like you said, it's a different time back in the days. A lot of women weren't able to speak up and to protect themselves. I'm sure it'll be flipped on them from a lot of different, scenarios, especially if men of power, they can kind of destroy their career, destroy their lives. So now is an opportunity. People feel comfortable now to step up and they have the protections. So, I hope they get what they're searching for, and that's peace. And if suing somebody for that trauma that you experience, I hope you get the max, because you deserve it.
Sue for 50 million.
50 million is a lot, but if that's hey, I mean, shit.
Sue for 50 million. Sue for 50 million.
50 mils. Crazy, bro.
But
for men, let's flip the script.
Yeah,
men got to be more responsible,
sure.
That's most importantly, and I hope these are lessons for future men.
Yeah, you got to get them to sign them NDAs.
Athletes, you gotta protect yourself.
Yeah,
because you have examples like Shannon being extorted. Regardless of what he's doing, he's still being extorted, right?
Is he fighting? So what? I guess I forgot where that is. He fighting it, or is he? Do you hear anything?
Well, he done went in the dark and crawled his ass into a hole. So I don't know.
Yeah,
but at the end of the day,
yeah, I know, right? He interviewing motherfuckers like Bow Wow right now.
Correct.
We want to hear about Bow Wow.
We gotta protect yourselves, and you gotta make the right decisions, men. So don't let this money get to your head, because in a snap, it can be taken from you. So.
Yeah, again, man, it's like Wade and Bron right now, man, with the oops. Just all you just do is just, you don't even look back. You just throw it up because you know what I mean? Just like you said, like that, you thought you were a top 3 pick, and like that, you fell down to the 5th round.
Hey.
Finally, we get Brady to break his silence on Shedeur. And this is what he had to say about Shedeur and the whole situation that kind of happened with Shedeur falling to the 5th round.
Shedeur Sanders What happened, Tom? Why did he go so late in the draft?
I mean, it's a good question. I wasn't a part of any evaluation process or.
All right, so that pause felt like he wanted to say one thing, but he didn't say it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
He had to recalculate.
Yeah, right. He had to recalculate and be careful in what and how he said what he was about to say. This is on Jake's Paul's podcast.
Skip Bayless says otherwise.
No. Well, everyone's got that's the problem with media is everyone can just say whatever the fuck they want. I actually texted Shedeur because I know him very well. And I said, dude, like whatever happens, wherever you go, like that's your first day. Day 2 matters more than the draft. I was 199.
Yeah.
So who could speak on it better than me? Like what that really means. Use it as motivation. You're going to get your chances. Go take advantage of it.
All right. So I understand. I'm a big Tom Brady fan, and I do consider him the greatest, probably football player that's ever played. Him and Jim Brown are top 2 for me. 1A, 1B, one. Take your flip. Huh. But do you think that he thought that he was going to be as good as he was? Did you think he always had these thoughts, or did he become what he is now? Like when you listen to Mike and you watch Mike from younger days, Mike always had this instinct that I'm just the best player when I step on the court and you're not going to outwork me. I don't get that from Tom. I get that he caught the competitor compassion that he has as when he started playing. But to me,
wait, hold on. Wait, what? Run that back. You said you don't think Tom Brady is. What did you say about Tom Brady? I'm just want to make sure I hear it right.
So the Tom Brady that we see now, the ultimate competitor, the ultimate fighter.
Yes.
I don't think he had that like in the beginning when he was drafted, and as he was, remember because he only played because Bledsoe got hurt.
Yeah, I know.
So like it was he took advantage of the opportunity and he never let it go.
Right.
He never let it go. And to me, that fire started to build till it was a fire that he didn't need fuel anymore. It was a part of him.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. But when you see even like you could probably say LeBron because you saw him. We've seen him so early from high school. But even Mike, when you see him talk, like that fire was like Kobe. The fire was already there. You know what I mean? Like especially like Kobe. Kobe always had that fire mentality. You know what I mean? Iverson, like they were killers from day one. Like I feel like Tom.
Yeah, but and I get where you're going. I don't mean to cut you off. I guess I'll let you finish. I'm only cutting you off because
but I'm just, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because I do want to get a Shedeur too. Yeah. But I think that the difference between these great hungry people you're talking about, Kobe, LeBron, Allen Iverson, they also had amazing talent behind them, right? So it was a combination of I'm already gifted by the highest to be able to do extraordinary things.
Correct.
Tom didn't have that. Tom was
Tom's
very average, right? So him to have that type of fire and to present that, he didn't have the opportunity. I think inside he did, but once he got the opportunity, he started using between his ears more than he did his athletic ability, which made him that much more hungry and understanding I got to beat these guys with my brain, not my athletic ability. When you get to that level, you can do that. So that fire was a little bit different. That fire was between the ears. As far as Kobe, Michael, LeBron, Allen, they had a gift and talent that it was just presented regardless. Before it was behind their ears, it was more just physical. I'm 6'8", 270, can run and fast like a truck. LeBron, I'm 6'10" and can play football. I'm an all-star athlete, a football player. That's my best sport is football. I'm just okay at basketball, but I make it to the NBA and Allen Iverson. Kobe was just the best player in the fucking high school player coming out of college. Like, so I think it's a little bit different when you talk about Tom. But as far as working hard and a work ethic and having that hunger, I think Tom in his career, he showed that. He presented.
Yeah, no, for sure. For sure. But I was just saying, because the reason why I brought that up is because he's like pointing to himself, like, look at me. Right. Like, people consider me the greatest of all time. And I was, the 199th pick in the draft. And I just think, like, maybe at this point, and even he just looks at himself as like, I'm Tom. But, like, you got to understand that you're a unicorn.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to put a ceiling on anybody's potential, but to say you could be like the GOAT, or you could be like, no, he can't.
Yeah.
He could take your story and find some motivation in it and say, hey, this guy who I might have more athletic ability, maybe, than him, and I had a better pedigree than him coming out, puts me in a position where I'm starting ahead of where he was, where I could excel and have a possible good career. But to say, hey, I came out at the 199 pick, just look at my story. Like, no, motherfucker, you're Tom Brady. Like, you're one of one. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like that one time, like, when you argue with people about how, this one thing's going to happen. Oh, well, Tom did it. Well, yeah, it's Tom Brady. That's not normal.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a normal individual when it comes to the football field. There's a reason why they call him the GOAT. You know what I mean? There's a reason why people consider him the best football player to ever play the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not like, and that's where I was going with that kind of fire.
No, I get it. I get what Tom is saying here. I get he's just trying to change the perspective for Shedeur as he's sitting through this terrible situation. Like, hey, it doesn't matter where you're going to get drafted. You're going to be able to have opportunity to do the best you can do. I get that. Tom Brady and Shedeur, when they were coming out, completely two different people. As far as Tom Brady went where he's supposed to have gone.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a fact. Tom Brady was a very average quarterback at the college football level. His numbers, as far as throwing, passing, his combine numbers, his speed was very below average. It just so happens he capitalized where he was at and the opportunity he got. Now, Shedeur, on the other hand, shows you everything on the field, has kind of expressed himself as far as an athlete and what he can do at the quarterback position that you would say would be a first-round draft pick. Tom Brady was nowhere near a first-round draft pick. So he can't understand what Shedeur is going through, because Shedeur should have been a first-round draft pick. Unfortunately, what was between the head of Shedeur, which we talked about, lacked that dropped him to the 5th round, especially with a lot of these things that are coming out, as far as him not being prepared for these meetings and these tests that he was going through, the attitude that he was kind of carrying himself, all that stuff has come out to potentially be true. And I think that impacted him going to the 5th round. But I think Tom was trying to just change his mindset to say, regardless where you get drafted at, bro, you're going to be okay.
Yeah,
you're going to just take it as hunger, and you go ahead and do it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree, and I think he's got a chance to maybe start. I don't think he has a lot of competition.
What I don't believe about Tom Brady is talking about he had nothing to do with nothing about whatever, blah, blah, blah. Come on now, Tom. Come on.
When he said he wasn't part
of
it.
Come on now. They done draft, right. They drafted 2 quarterbacks. Y'all drafted, his Raiders drafted 2 quarterbacks. Like, come on. Yeah. Right. Like, come on. One's going to be a transition to a receiver. The other one is, I can't know what school.
I think I saw that transition to a receiver one, actually.
Right. Like, come on, Tom. If anybody are looking at you that they know you have a connection with Shedeur, they would ask you and say, hey, bro, what do you really think? And come on. That's why it took so long probably for him to really answer the question. He had to kind of think about, how can I talk about this?
Yeah.
My man just came out and say, what's going on with Shedeur?
Yeah.
And left it to Tom. Tom's like, but go ahead.
Yeah, and he really didn't give the answer. Like, he didn't really give the answer that you were looking for either.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was a smart way to do it. Just like, hey, It don't matter where you get drafted. It don't matter about, it matters about day two, how you carry yourself after it. You know what I mean? How you put yourself in position. So, and use me as the ultimate motivation.
Correct.
Which it's just like Shaq. I mean, it's not Shaq. It's just like, Wilt saying, use me as a ultimate motivation to score 100 points, even though I'm 7'1" and I can jump out the gym and I'm more athletic than anybody in the goddamn vicinity. Like, yeah, but use that. Like, no, don't work like that. Don't work like that.
But let me ask you, tell me one thing that Tom Brady was extraordinary about physically.
Oh, Fitz. Yeah, nothing. I mean, nothing was special about Tom except for his arm and his head.
Arm was okay.
Yeah, the arm wasn't like the strongest arm.
It was here.
Yeah, it was head, and he was pretty. I would say he was decently accurate. He knew where to go with the ball.
I'm talking about special. We've seen special talent that can throw the ball on a dot, that can launch a ball 70 yards, that can throw the ball on different angles and blah blah blah. That can run like Lamar Jackson. Nothing special about Tom besides this piece here and his preparation to each game. So if other young quarterbacks are willing to sacrifice and do what Tom did, they can be the GOAT. Obviously you got to win, right? You got to kind of lead your team and have a great situation. But it really is here for Tom. For me, it's just he was just the smartest person on the field at all times, and he was prepared for everything that he was going to see, every defensive package, every blitz scheme, every stunt up front. He knew how to get the ball out in time, where everybody's going to be at. He knew it all. And I think if quarterbacks will focus more in the lab, they can be just as great as far as with a combination of their abilities. So I don't think it's far-fetched. I think Tom's a unicorn because how he was able to win, but his attributes are not unicorn-like at all. LeBron is a unicorn. Wilt, a unicorn. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Even Michael Jordan wasn't really a unicorn. He just was great.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it was just great. It was nothing physically that was
he
like.
Could jump out the gym, though.
Yeah, he could jump. You're right. I forgot. He could jump out the motherfucking gym. That is true. Yeah. But so could Dominique Wilkins.
Different type of jump, though.
It was a different jump.
It was a different type.
No, Mike can glide. He can just.
Mike can glide. You saw that dunk contest.
He can fly. I believe I can fly.
That side dunk where his head was above the rim. Like, come on.
That's right. You're right. Mike could jump out the gym.
Yeah, Mike could jump out the gym. You know what I mean? It's just that when Dominique jumped, he brought the gym down with him. You know what I mean?
That is true.
That
is true. That is true.
You know what I mean? But I think there was something you said a little bit earlier. Talk about being smart, right? And up here in the head. Mm-hmm. And I got to ask you this question with this next one here. Do you think this was a smart trade? Where you got this trade? The Dallas Cowboys traded for the Steelers, George Pickens. I think if the Steelers got a 7th round pick in 2026 or 2027, I forget. It was all future picks. I'm sorry. The Steelers got a 3rd round pick in 2026 and a 5th round pick in 2027, and Cowboys got George Pickens and a 7th pick, and I believe it was 2026. So all future picks, all down the road. But the Dallas Cowboys finally get, a number 2 receiver that they've been looking for so long in terms of George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. Let me ask you this, 2 questions. Does this make Dallas dangerous? And who won the trade?
So let me answer this. I'll start with the Cowboys. I think George Pickens has a ton of talent. I think he can be a number 1 wide receiver. I think at times he's a head case. And I think that can be an issue if he's not willing to change that, if he doesn't mature. If he can become a professional, he can be one of the great professional receivers because he has all the skills. He can run, he can catch, he can jump, he's dynamic, he can run routes. Is he a team player? I doubt it. Is he coachable? I don't think so. Because I've seen the way he's played, giving up on plays, not running in routes that he's supposed to run. At the same time, I've seen him make really big splashy plays, 51 catches, over 900 yards.
Yep.
That's not hard, that's not easy to do. So well, no, I don't give a shit about the Cowboys. So to tell you the truth, I'm gonna be honest with you. Sorry, I just lost you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Sorry, something just happened with my. Give me 1 second. Okay,
No,
sorry.
No, I got you. Yeah, you good.
So, since I don't like the Cowboys, I hope the same George Pickens mental head case is going to the Dallas Cowboys and will continue to wreck the Dallas Cowboys. I hope that happens. I think that will happen because I don't think Dallas will be able to change that. There's a lot of egos. So you got now CeeDee Lamb, you got Dak Prescott, you got George Pickens. Who's going to fall in line? Is CeeDee Lamb is the number one. He's the receiver, or George Pickens. I'm hoping there's a bunch of shit going on in Dallas, and they just do what Dallas does. But if George Pickens becomes smart between the ears, more mature, I think they can be dangerous piece of the NFC going forward. Going to the Steelers, I think the Steelers are in rebuild mode, and this kind of told you that. They're trying to stock up on these trades, with these picks. I think it gives.
You think they're all in for the quarterback class coming up?
Correct, 100%. I don't think they're going to make any moves. I think they're going to pretty much.
So you think they're tanking?
And I think coach has 2 more years, 3 more years, and I think they're okay with that. I think they're like, all right, Mike, you still a young guy. We got to rebuild. We got to rebuild, and we got a good quarterback class coming out next year. We're going to try and make it. We're going to go all in on trying to get the quarterback. Huh?
I said it's been a while since it's been like this good of a class coming up.
Exactly. So I think they're going on.
What was the class? The good class that came out? Was it the Trevor Lawrence class that had a good class?
Well, the most recent one was it's like 3-4 years ago.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence. I just want to see what that draft. What draft was that? Oh shit.
So that's what I'm saying. So I think both teams, if I'm right with the Steelers, kind of going in rebuild mode and hopefully kind of get that quarterback for next year. I think it's almost a split. It's a good trade. They get a head case off their roster. They can rebuild completely, and find their quarterback.
Yeah, that draft class sucked. It was Trevor. Zach Wilson went number 2.
Yeah, it was like 4 years ago that there was a good quarterback class. I'm just trying to think of the quarterbacks.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Draft class. Let's do 2020. Yeah,
Herbert. Was it Herbert's class? Herbert.
Yeah, is that Burrow's class?
Herbert. Yeah, it was like, I think
it's
Burrow.
It was Burrow. Yeah. I'm looking. That was a year before. It's Joe Burrow went 1. Tua went 2. Herbert went 6.
Yeah, that was the one.
Yeah, that was the one. That was a decent.
That wasn't Lamar Jackson.
Jordan Love went 26.
Lamar Jackson one was a good one too.
Yeah, Lamar went.
That was Josh Allen, Lamar.
Right, Lamar went 31st. Yeah.
So yeah, I think this is one of them classes. So I think for the Steelers, to answer your question, I think they're looking to kind of rebuild from the quarterback position.
Oh yeah, Jalen Hurts. Hurts was in that draft too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a crazy class. Not to cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Trying to think who else was in. Who was it? Anybody else in the third? Did they get starters in the third round? Any QBs in the third round?
You can just click on the quarterback, right, and just see who the quarterbacks got drafted.
Yeah, it took me to ESPN, and it's kind of going round by round.
Oh, okay. They don't have the position by position?
No, it's just going by round. But I don't see anybody in that class. But I mean, if you look at Burrow, who's been to the chip, Tua, Herbert, Allen. I'm sorry, not Allen, Love, and then Jalen. That was that class. All 5 starters. Mm-hmm. 2 of them been to chips. 1 of them got a ring. and that is your Philadelphia Eagle, Jalen Hurts, by the way. Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP. Let me put some man's name. But does this make Dallas dangerous?
Yeah, for sure. If you get the right George Pickens that can be explosive as a number 2 receiver, you got to worry about CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens now.
So you have them higher than Washington, or they're still the 3rd best team in the NFC East?
Well, I don't believe in Dak. I think Dak is ass. So,
all right, so they're not dangerous. So.
But they're dangerous because you got a lot of because now it's not. We can't just focus on CeeDee Lamb.
If they didn't overtake Washington, then the motherfuckers ain't dangerous.
Do they have a running back? Did they draft a running back?
They do. Miles Sanders is there. We'll see what he does, and then the bull from Denver, Javonte Williams.
Listen, I don't know, man. Cowboys gonna do what Cowboys gonna do. So
ain't shit.
They look good on paper. They look good on paper for a second. I think this helps them, though. I do think this helps them for sure.
Yeah. All right.
Fuck the Cowboys.
I don't know if this helps them. I think this was more your story that you wanted to talk about. And there's been a couple of videos that I had to, kind of cipher through. I went through one that I thought made sense in terms of the topic we want to go. Let me go with this. And that's y'all president, Donald Trump, and his World Cup conversations that he's had for 2026. So there's been a couple of videos. The video you shared, right, with JD Dance saying, yeah, you guys can stay here for a little bit, but then if you don't got the right papers, y'all got to get out. And then I saw another video about them with the committee talking about how if Russia, I guess, would do a peace with the Ukrainians, they would allow Russia to be in the World Cup, which as an incentive, which I don't know how that even works. But we understand that soccer is the biggest sport on the planet. So I don't know if soccer's that important to Russia or not, but whatever. But I thought the real interesting one that was a part of this conversation was how he's going to handle this whole World Cup, right? It's the World Cup. And if you guys have coworkers or know folks that are from European countries, World Cup is huge. And when the World Cup comes around, the colors come out, they flock to the bar, all the bars are packed. Like, World Cup is a world event for sure. Without a doubt in my mind. Super Bowl is huge here. Just think about everybody doing the Super Bowl at once. Even like I catch the World Cup at times too. So huge event. But how do you deal with it with the tariffs? Let's see what Trump had to say about hosting the World Cup, but also putting tariffs on those teams and those countries.
Reined in, Mr. President?
Enough. It's FIFA.
How do you see the World Cup playing out with the tensions you have with Canada and Mexico, who will also be?
I think it's going to make it more exciting. Tension's a good thing.
Even for the World Cup?
Yeah, I think so. I think it makes it much more exciting.
Sir, the entire.
All right, so he didn't really say shit. I didn't see the video, so I'm just watching it. I just want to know, who is this lizard in the back? Like his face looks like half of it's about to slide off. You know what I'm saying? Like it don't look like, who he looked like? He looked like the bull. Here, I'm gonna show you the bull from what's the bull from the Goonies?
That's funny.
With his eye kind of damn near falling off.
What are you talking about? Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Let me see if I can bring it up real quick.
That is funny you said that.
Are they gonna do that to me? But yeah, hey you guys,
yeah.
But I mean, there's a lot around this, right? With everything's kind of going on. I mean, just give me your take on, I don't know, what like kind of, from from obviously, I would think more with the tariff side, about what the president said about, I guess, I don't know. With the tension, like he's so good at just sidestepping, I think, questions. I mean, I really don't know how else to explain that, I guess. I don't know. What do you think? It's kind of hard for me to put in words what.
I think it's very odd that the world, it's one of them things where you have a country that's hosting the World Cup, but also a country that's led by the man in the yellow tie in his video that's isolating the own country from everybody else by forcing, there he goes.
Yeah,
that's
funny.
You
know what I mean?
Tension's a good thing.
Even for the World Cup?
Yeah, I think so. I think it makes it much more exciting.
Yeah, kind of close. I think it's kind of close.
So it's just a nasty situation. And to be honest with you, how safe do people feel like they are going to America? What are the plans for the Trump administration when we're going to be having millions of foreigners coming into the country, when at the same time you're kicking a million illegal aliens out of the country, and you're fighting with your allies that you're supposed to be combining because it's a North American World Cup shared. That means there's going to be games in Mexico, there's games in the United States, there's games in Canada. You guys are supposed to be working together to make sure this is a great event for the world. That's why it's called the World Cup. We're the most non-invited country on the planet right now, probably next to Russia or North Korea, right? Like the shit that we're doing right now against all these countries is just pretty ironic that we're going to be hosting a World Cup in 2026, less than a year from now. I would say summer of 2026, right? It's a little over a year from now. It's nasty work.
Trump don't give a damn.
And you're right, Don. He really don't. And
hey, Don, you done switched up, boy. I'll tell you what. Because last time we saw you, we saw the Pistons. Now you done fucked up and said, fuck them. Went right to the Tigers. Are the Tigers getting good? It's been a while since
they're nice. The Tigers is not bad.
They're not bad? Since Pudge played with the Tigers the last time Tigers was somebody?
They good, man. They got Schoolboy. They got Tiger Schools. Schoolboy, the quarterback, the pitcher. They got some hitters. They're all right.
All right. Just a heads up, because you talked about the Knicks. Right now, the Thunder are beating the Nuggets by 50.
Yeah, they lost that one game. Nuggets like, we got our one, so
124-76 right now, and it's the end of the third quarter. They might score $150.
I know we're a couple months away from this World Cup. I'll be interested to see by the time let's revisit this conversation come football season to see where the world is at. It might be much worse than where we are at this moment. So let's see. Let's really see.
Yeah, I think it, to me, and we've had many conversations about some of this stuff, and it's just like, it's kind of like a wait and approach. Like this, like I said, you don't know what's left, what's right, what's up, what's down. You know what I mean? Left, right, up, down. A, B, select, start. Like I don't know. It's hard to really say. You can trust your eyes, or you can trust your ears, or what you're seeing in front of you, and some of the data points this way. But got long ways to go, and things are moving left and right. First, he's 125, 145 tariffs on China, and now we're retracting that. You know what I mean? So, but I agree with you. You have to become inviting when you're inviting the world.
Correct.
To your home, and you have to put on a spectacle in a event, because this is an opportunity and I think you said it before, how bad tourism is now at this moment. This is an opportunity now to get people back from other countries to come back and want to come to the United States, because that's not what is the popular thing right now.
I mean, let's think about it real quick. Didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah.
Like, if you're Mexican or you're like, are you like, how do you come if they got a game in LA or Philadelphia, like we're going to be hosting a game? How is ICE going to be set it up outside, ready to just kind of swoop in on us and try to take advantage of the opportunity? Like, if you Mexican, are you exposing yourself? Like, they're like, it's crazy, bro. Like, if I don't know, it's just like, do you feel safe coming to America for what's happening? The way they are picking people up off the streets and sending them to El Salvador. Just imagine, like, if I'm ICE and I'm the administration, we're doing, I'm strategizing, right? I'm like, all right, cool. Game's gonna be here. We're gonna have a setup. Like, we're gonna scoop up a lot of folks at that by that time.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. It's a tough. It's not tough, but it's tough for people who want to come in.
Correct.
You know,
you would think what I'm saying is extreme, but it's reality.
No, it's reality. You know, it's right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's reality, and I think it's an unfortunate reality, because we've heard stories. You know, I think the one gentleman, like you said, that got shipped to El Salvador, but he was a United States citizen. You know, and then I think the administration would say, well, you know, it's 1 out of X amount or whatever the percentage is. You know, we're not, you know, I think Elon said this, but we're not going to bat 100. We're not going to make mistakes. The problem is, okay, I agree with that. You're going to make mistakes, but when you see that you made a mistake, correct it. And I think that's where the problem is, and the communication is with that, because
they double down
coming out is that, oh, he can stay there, he can rot. You know what I mean? Like, no, that's a U.S. citizen. Find a way to bring him back and make it right. Not you're just like, no, all right, fucking moving on to the next one. Just like Don said, Trump don't give a damn. So, yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's just, you know, it's a lot to unpack. It's a lot of layers that you can get into, and it's just, you know, thinking about the World Cup though. I think that stance has to change in terms of, we want this to almost be like an open door policy. You know, come here, spend your money here.
Spend your money.
You know what I mean? Because, you know, states could use it.
Hell yeah, you got terrorists that's killing people right now. Business is going to be closing down. Small business is going to be closing down.
Yeah, small businesses are probably going to take a hit.
For sure.
It's just so much uncertainty at the moment. So I was listening to a pod and and it was interesting because it said similar that small businesses are the ones to be worried because they don't know how to forecast.
Correct.
This type of turmoil, this type of volatility,
and a lot of their product they get overseas, and they can't afford it. China, you know, you can't afford 140%, bro. That's if I'm paying $100, that's $240.
Yeah.
For a $400 shirt. Like, who was talking about? That's crazy.
And his podcast too, I thought it was interesting. One of the gentlemen said that what people are doing now is waiting for rules and regulations to be set, and then trying to get creative on how to move around and navigate through that. And that's what people were doing. They were just saying, like, you know, China is just a manufacturing hub. And Don, I'll get to you on your odds. China is just a manufacturing hub, but there's other places in the world that do cheaper labor than China. You know what I'm saying? It's just not like people think that China's the cheapest labor, and it's not. And I'm saying what I'm hearing from this podcast. I don't know for sure. I don't deal with these conversations or anything like that. So honestly, it's subjective, right? I'm just listening, which kind of logically makes sense. Like, oh, okay, I guess that makes sense. You know, there could be some other places outside of China. China's just such a manufacturing, you know, environment that it can handle that type of scale. But future odds. So one thing I was looking at, Don, is a baseball bet. I didn't put it in yet. I left money on the table because when I saw it, I think it was like 15-1, 13-1. Kyle Schwarber to lead the league in home runs. He's kind of hot right now, and he's not batting first. He's batting fourth. Not sure, you know, why that is. It'll be tough to keep up with Judge, the way Judge is playing. I mean, Judge is a runaway MVP at this moment for the AL, but I think Schwarber is either tied or leads the league in homers. And Schwarber gets even better when it gets hotter. So if he can open up that lead a little bit, I think that's not a bad bet. I think it dropped to like 900 to 1 right now. So I kind of left some money on the table when I saw it. And even double down on Schwarber being the MVP. He's carrying the Phillies. To be honest, if the Phillies get the first wild card, maybe even be the second or third best team in the NLL, and he leads the league in homers. If he leads the league in homers, he's going to hit like 45. He's going to have 120 ribs. I mean, that puts him in. I'm not saying he's going to win it, but that puts him in the conversation. The interesting thing, Harper has better odds than he does. Right now, Kyle Schwarber is 60 to 1 to win MVP. Harper is like 30 to 1, which I thought was interesting because Harper he's having a down year compared to what Harper usually does. So I know it's a little hometown, bet, but that would be my bet. And then we talked about this on another show. I don't think we were close on the NBA odds of the matchups. But, I mean, I guess to ask you now, looking what you see now, I mean, is it not a collision course with New York and OKC at this point? That's kind of where I look, because everybody else hurt. Like Steph is hurt. He's out a week. And then who else is hurt? And then the Cavs are banged up, bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's not good. And I mean, the way New York is playing right now, they're going to Boston and to beat Boston twice. Like, I don't even know when's the last time Boston lost twice in the playoffs back to back.
Today was terrible.
Like, that's like, and then not even that, not even just to lose back to back to the Knicks.
Yeah,
it's got to be probably the first time, which they put this graphic up of how many of the most teams who have played in the playoffs. Just interesting enough, the Sixers and the Celtics were 1. The Knicks and the Celtics were 2. They played 16 times in the playoffs. I don't know if there's one time that the Knicks have gone to Boston, beat them twice back to back in the playoffs in the history of that series.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on in basketball.
All the momentum. All they need is one in New York, and it's a wrap.
Yeah. I don't see how Boston can come back from this. I think this loss is actually completely deflating.
Absolutely.
You can't allow a 21-2 run in the end of the third and fourth quarter to close out a game. You just can't. That's an ultimate collapse. Shame on Boston for that. Constant shooting threes. How many threes they pulled up? They were like
40.
I thought it was like 50. Was it like 50 something threes?
They did 63s game 1. They've shot 100 threes in 2 games.
It's crazy, bro.
Yeah, like
up 20, you still out here trying to launch threes.
Yeah, they're living and dying
instead of playing basketball, and that's why basketball looks so crazy right now. Indiana coming back last night against the Cavs.
That was a good shot by Halliburton, though.
Great shot, but it should never have got to that point, right? Like you're fouling too early.
What do you mean when you say that? It should never got to that point.
They were up 8 with like 20-something seconds or 40-something seconds left. You got to close it out. They had 2 turnovers. You had you fouled too early at one point to put them to the line. Like it's just a complete collapse to close out games. It's been happening in this second round. Every game has been the other team that's been leading, having a complete collapse to close the game out. That just tells me I don't know what they're being coached, what the nerves are. It's just bad. It was bad watching the basketball. Although they're good games, it's just looking at them. I'm confused. I'm like, what? What the fuck?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? Same with the Clippers. Happened with the Clippers. That one game they were up and allowed Denver to come back. multiple turnovers in the game. Kawhi with the turnover, Hart with the turnover. My man that was hitting all them threes and he turns the ball over. It's just sloppy.
Kawhi looked like he getting that Jerry Rice.
What you mean?
With them braids. Them braids starting
back.
Yeah, they're starting to fade back a little bit, starting to lean back a little bit.
You can look at Minnesota, man. You can really look at Minnesota potentially giving.
Well, now that Steph is hurt.
Yeah,
but I don't think they can beat OKC though.
OKC's tough.
Not in 7 games.
Yeah, it's tough.
You know what I mean? Especially the way OKC plays defense.
Sidebar, and from inside of a person that was actually at the game yesterday, the Minnesota Golden State game, that it was kind of dead up there in Minnesota. That was so the energy was just. She said the energy was kind of like, it was like, damn, we in a playoff second round playoffs. Got Golden State coming in here, and it's just like the bars are not filled up. It just was different. She said, we go home and Xfinity is packed and people outside, and it's like, we go to New York Knicks and everybody going crazy. Like, so it's just different.
Yeah.
Maybe it might be different. Home court for like teams like Minnesota or if OKC, because OKC they be there. They got the same T-shirt on, everything. They rooting for their team. So maybe I think, like I said, I think we did say OKC would go to the finals. I didn't think the Knicks.
I think we were looking at matchups and we were talking about who did I have? I had the Cavs.
You like the Cavs? I like OKC. I like OKC and I like Golden State.
I think it was it the Cavs and OKC? I don't think so. Because it was I thought that was
you like the Clippers. Stories. You like the Clippers.
Yeah. Was it OKC and the Clippers?
Yeah, we thought OKC was going to play the Clippers. Yeah. We thought that was going to be the matchup.
Yeah, I got to go back. Oh, yeah, because with Harden and like OKC a little bit.
Well, Don, I would only disagree with you because back in the old school basketball, they weren't just launching up threes when you're up 20 points. It was getting the ball in the paint and getting your 2-point buckets, working the clock, and running a set play or isolation to get to the rim. I would just say that's a little bit different now. Now, the thing that has been more back to old school will be the way this game is being officiated. All of a sudden, the refs don't blow the whistle now.
So quiet.
So I hate. I'm a ref myself. Obviously, I'm not an NBA ref, but I am a ref. I don't like the inconsistency. I don't like you go all season blowing your whistle all year, and then you get to the NBA playoffs, and it's just a different, complete ball game. No, you got to be consistent. You can't just all of a sudden just allow them to turn it up, because then you get this extra bullshit that's happening. So the only thing I think is changing as far as going back to old school will be the officials. Nate, as a Sixers fan, do you feel good about the future looking on the landscape of the NBA? As a Sixers fan, I don't think there's anything we can. Well, that's questions to you. Sorry.
No, I mean, no, you can take it. I don't. I'm an Eagles fan. The Sixers right now, man. I couldn't even tell you, man. They
say we're out of Giannis.
I think the window's closed. Even if they somehow pull off some miraculous and they get, a top 3 pick, from where they are, I think they have a 10% chance.
I like our young pieces. I like the rebuild. If we can get a top 3 pick, I definitely like the rebuild.
A former MVP on your team, former All-Star on your team, and you're talking about a rebuild.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, so
because they broke. They broken.
Outlook don't really look too good.
I like that we got Maxey, we got
McLean.
I like those people in our back, those guys in our backcourt. You build up, if you can get Ace Bailey, you can get my young man out of Duke. I think you now are working with pieces that will be able to grow together and build. And I think you just kind of start adding around there. I'm not worried about Joel Embiid. I've been about Joel a long time, and I'm not, Paul George. These guys, it's over. They're done. We're not going to be able to win with those guys. They're broke.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to the future. I'm looking at the future. I'm looking at an OKC vision, right? Young 3 good poor core pieces. You now start building that and you get the energy around that piece. Stop worried about what Joel's going to do. He's not going to last. Stop worrying about getting these big time veterans in here. Fuck them. You get small, young core guys like they did in OKC, and you build around those core guys, and you get the energy behind it. That's how I would do it.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that Joel's going to be healthy. I don't know it until I believe it.
No, he's not going to be healthy.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's going to be healthy or not, Don. He hasn't been healthy pretty much almost kind of like his whole career almost. Maybe once, twice, I guess when he won the MVP. But, you know, I was giving some credit to Harden, but his game 7 kind of
crazy
resume is fucking ridiculous. Like I can't really like I don't even know what to say about that. You can't even defend it. It is what it is. At this point, I'm trying to see if we can bring up the matchups real quick here on basketball to see where the matchups are. That's crazy. The Knicks are only minus 120 to win the series. Boston's plus 100.
Yeah, I like that. Put that money on there.
Yeah. Do we really think Boston's going to come back?
I mean, they could probably win one at New York.
Yeah, they probably could.
Yeah, because eventually those shots are going to go down. They keep shooting shots. Shots going to go down.
They might fuck around and get.
I mean, shit. They was up 20 deep in the third. They should have closed that game. So,
has there been any like has Tatum gone off in any games yet or no?
I think Tatum game 1 he was okay. He was good. He was straight.
Okay.
He was cold. No, so he was hot in the first quarter. Second quarter, I think he had like maybe 1 bucket. Yeah, it was like it's.
In New York, the winning Eastern Conference is almost 3-1. I think that's a really good bet. They're up 2-0 because I like them against the Pacers. I'll tell you that. I feel like that's an old school series too.
Knicks and Pacers. Yeah.
Knicks and Pacers.
Yeah, I'm actually I just looked at that. I'm thinking in my head, I'm picturing Reggie Miller versus Mark Jackson.
Yeah, that's got some story. I got some quiet storylines that people forget about. You know, you talking about
Latrell Sprewell.
Yeah, you talking about kind of like rivalries a little bit. They've got some deep rivalries. Yeah, I can't find they don't have up. I was looking for Don. They don't have the NBA futures for matchups for the finals. And maybe because there's a game still going on, it's more likely why. But yeah, no, bro, I'm an Eagles fan all the way. Until I won't jump on the bandwagon until they start fucking winning. You know what I mean? But I got something for you, Don, and everybody watching. I got something for y'all. I got a new game that we can bet on. I want you to tell me what y'all think about this, John.
What's wrong looking at this?
Oh my God!
Can we get a Mincy? Can you make look upwards? Look at the camera.
Oh, yeah.
No, look up though.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What she sees.
Sounds.
Yeah. All right.
This is for real.
What if Clemmer just win? Don't do that.
These Barstools, this is that bullshit they be doing.
Oh my God.
He has a mic on desk.
How's it taste?
101.
I'm curious. The pacing.
Slow
is,
pop.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Clemmer might know what he's doing.
Clemmer's just holding it in there.
Is it going to run out of tongue?
He might be doing a better job.
Clemmer has
Vince
a
might wear
brooding
him.
way about him.
Vinci is violently eating.
So you can't bite it, I'm assuming?
No. Race to the center of the Tootsie Pop. You think these boys prepared for this game, bro?
I'm sure they did. Barstool Sports, man, they never fail, brother. They gonna give you everything you need.
You think this was preparation? A good preparation done for this game?
Pause. I don't know what they doing in their own personal life. I'm hoping blowing and popping ain't part of it, but you never know, man.
You never know.
Never know.
I mean, this is week 2, right? You know, first week was sperm games, right?
The caption's hilarious. A 1v1 suck off is insanity.
Right.
Oh shoot.
I think yeah, I don't know. I didn't get to the end. It just felt uncomfortable watching it for too long. Cause my man right here with it, he's going hard. Pause. going real heavy in the paint here. You know what I mean? Get a win. I think he might be a low seed too, right? It's an 8 versus number 2.
Is that what it says?
I think so. It's an 8 seed versus number 2. We got to pull off this upset.
Crazy.
Yeah, man.
I don't know where you found that video.
I mean, I'll be looking for him, man. I'll be looking for the funny gambling games and stuff like that out there. I know there was some things we had left off, but get a little late, a little late night talk here. Anything else we got out there? Looking at our list of our topics. The only thing I think we didn't talk about was, did you bet on the ponies? I didn't get a chance to.
No, I didn't. Didn't at all.
And I know you said the winner is not running in the Preakness.
That is true. That is interesting. I had that story. I didn't have my phone with me. But it makes you think, are we now, is this a new thing that's going to happen where, running your horses, only within 3 weeks at a time, is it too much? And has it been too much? And I think that's the question. I think that's what they're trying to debate. Like, are we going to lose the Triple Crown because horses that win the Kentucky Derby may not potentially run in the next race to consider the Triple Crown? And there's a lot, man. Then you open up the door to abuse to animals, animal abuse, and all this stuff like that. And but yeah, the winner of the Kentucky Derby said he's not going to be running in the Preakness. So that means there won't be an opportunity for a Triple Crown. Interesting.
Did he say he was running? Was it Belmont? It was next.
Yeah, he probably will run the Belmont, but he won't run the Preakness. But in order to win the Triple Crown, you got to win those 3 races, and those races are 3 weeks apart, which is not a lot of time because they're all long races.
Do you think it's an animal cruelty thing? You think that's where it's stemming from?
I don't know about animal cruelty. I think it's just about the protection of the horse. You want to call it cruelty? I mean, a lot of people will say racing horses is cruelty to animals, right?
I mean, they be whipping the shit out of them, yeah.
Yeah, and on top of that it's the behind the scenes of what they're doing to the horses, how they're getting them up. What is the process to getting into this level, breeding them? It's a whole process.
Steroids.
That too, and then once they get injured, you're putting them to sleep, or it's rarely that there's a happy ending on nice little pasture, and this horse that may have cracked his ankle got healed up and just retired because of injuries. No, usually they're going down, and usually only your best are going to be up in that ranch, becoming the breeder for the next, just like for the Kentucky Derby. Every one of those horses that race was in a lineage of Secretariat. So we've seen where Secretariat ended up happily ever after he did what he did. But interesting, man. Ponies are very interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I told y'all it was going to be a crazy run of stories. We started off in early, and I guess we got to a better place, right? Before it was like sexual assault after sexual assault. I had to catch myself and drop a 1-800 number to make sure.
Almost off the cliff.
Yeah, almost off the cliff. Like you said, you were praying. I didn't say the wrong thing. Like, shit, Nate. Come on. Keep it together. Don't say the wrong thing, right? Don't get us motherfucking canceled. All this hard work to get here, you over here just flapping out the gums because you want to ask a question. Don't ask the motherfucking question. Leave it alone. But to Don Don's point, it's May. Football's not too far around the corner. They already had kind of football mini camp with hats and shorts, so we'll get back into our bread and butter. We'll continue to entertain you guys with these kind of funny stories and hot takes. More shows coming along. Also on, got to find out what day. I'm going to teach myself how to bet the WNBA. So if you guys want to learn how to bet the WNBA, we're going to run it up. It's a whole different game. My man Humble here has told me it's a completely different game. It's a game under the rim. So got to pay attention. So I'm going to be watching. I'm going to try to teach myself how to bet the WNBA, and we're going to do that live. So that should be a lot of fun. Hopefully the games ain't boring. Part of the games will be boring.
No, they exciting.
Okay.
I think basketball's exciting because they're more
I've
aggressive.
watched a couple games.
Yeah, they're really aggressive.
There's some preseason games that I know that was out. I think who was that? Where's Caitlin Clark? What's the team?
Indiana.
Fever.
Yeah, Indiana.
I think they beat Brazil by like 70 or some shit like that.
Yeah.
So
it's the preseason time.
Yeah, it's preseason time. So, and I just warn you guys. I apologize to you right now. I will not be able to pronounce these women's names. I guarantee it. You know, I'm not. I just, you know, we gonna get real hood on it and just like, why are you naming your child this? Because with these different, you got no vowels in your name, all consonants for whatever reason. But that should be fun, and obviously our Victory Monday Eagles podcast on Monday. So always good stuff here at Money Pot Betting YouTube channel and the Money Podcast show. So for myself, I'm Moss Money. Let's be humble. Appreciate everybody who jumped on and commented. And Don, good to have you back, brother. We will see you guys next week for another night of Gambling Nights. Have a good night, everybody.